happiness through curiosity on TRS Clips. Okay, my question then is, why do there exist people like you who go through that same societal life in urban metros and still remain psychics?
No, I won't say I was always a psychic. It went up and down for me. Okay, so coming to me, and if I see my background, yes, I was born with enhanced psychic abilities like everyone else. And there was a little different thing that happened with me is what during the first 10 years of my life, I remembered my past lives.
Okay.
So my parents have narrated some bizarre stories which I used to speak, and some of them they validated when they confirmed that okay, she remembers her past lives, which toned down on its own when I turned around 9 or 10. When that toned down, what happened for me? Something else started flaring up. I started getting premonitions.
What is that?
Premonition is where you come to know what's happening in the future. Initially, it was mild. Now, this I was in my teenage. Initially, it was mild, and it's okay till you are getting premonitions or you are just maybe cracking some questions that you're going to get in the examination, and you actually get that, or maybe just telling a friend that this person is going to cheat on you, and you actually save your friend from. That's fine, but it was taking a different route where I started getting premonitions which were not very welcoming. I got a premonition of my mom's accident. Okay, so that was that. I mean, I would say that was one episode that really shook me. It changed my life because that was the time I realized that, wow, I mean, what's happening with me? I tried telling my mom. I remember around 11 days before she actually met with an accident, I told her that, Mom, I don't feel good about something, especially connected to her. And I was in the hostel that time. I was not even home. So she told me everything is fine. Don't worry. I'm fine and everything. And then some days after that, she tells me that, Pooja, you know what? I'm just going to Delhi. Nainital is actually, that's where my grandparents stayed. So she said that I'm going to Delhi. I'm going to see grandparents. I'll visit them at Nainital and I'll be back. And I had my examinations due. So she knew I would be in the hostel for some time. And that is when I just joked. I was like, Mom, don't go. She's like, I'm fine. Your mama is there and everyone is there. So I'll be fine. Don't worry. I said, no, don't go. But that was the time I myself was not taking myself seriously because I myself was not sure whether it's my mind playing games or whether it's actually something that I'm feeling. But I just told her. So she said, don't worry, I'll be fine. And she went. And then, she actually meets with an accident on her way from Delhi to Nainital. It was a head-on collision with a truck. She was saved, of course, but people who were actually seeing the car were like that it's impossible that someone would survive this. She was on bed rest for 6 months, and that incident totally shook me. And I was like, no, I don't want this. Whatever this is uncomfortable, and I don't want it. I am not ready for it.
How old were you?
19.
Okay.
So it continued and I kept showing it off. I kept, because even if I tried to talk to somebody about it, no one was getting it, that what I was going through. And I was not getting a proper help, no answers to why was this happening with me? Because by that time I had realized that it was happening more with me than anyone else. Like if I talk to my friends, do you feel the same? They are like, no. So then I was like, wow, okay, this is happening only with me. So I was figuring a lot of things out, but I was not at all comfortable with the entire feeling.
But what other premonitions were you getting in this phase?
A lot of, they were small. They were not very huge. Like, they were bearable. But this was something that left a huge scar on me. It was, I was in fear. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for this. So because I stopped acknowledging it, there was a time where I stopped feeling or sensing anything much. Like it was there, but I just kept showing it off there. I don't want this. I don't want this. And the finals, because, this was the final thing that happened. I would say that was a wake-up call for me because this is something that I had signed up for. So the universe is like that, we need to give her a whack. when my house got haunted. So there were things happening with me from the very beginning, but this spirit thing was something for the first time that I was
It
experiencing.
it got haunted, as in it was the same house you were living in, but
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. For years, I have like from my 10th standard, I have lived in the same house and I'm still in the same house.
Did you buy a doll or something? Sorry.
Nothing. So I'll tell you what happened. So I was in the US for 5 years and then I moved back. And so I have two boys. Okay. So it was my two boys, me, my mom, and dad in the house. And it was a very difficult phase that we were going through because my dad was battling cancer. So we all were like, in a very low state of life. So this one fine, and okay, my mom and me, we both have been teachers. Like, I come from a teaching background. My mom has taught all her life. So above our house was the classroom where, there was the board and all. So my older son, he was 6 back then. He just went with his friend and he's like, I'll just play and come. I said, go play. So they were just writing something on the board and all. They both come running down, fear in their eyes. And my son tells me that, Mama, I heard a very weird noise, a sound. I said, Acha. He said, someone told me get out. I said, it must be some child playing a trick on you because students keep coming and going. He said, no, I checked everywhere. It was a very manly voice. And twice we were told to just get out. And the friend was also like that, yeah, Didi, it was a very scary voice. And then we came running down. I said, okay, let me come. I went up with him. And I looked, there was nobody around that who could have, I thought it's someone playing a trick or something. There was nobody around. But when I was up, I didn't hear anything. I came down anyway. I told him, don't worry, just forget it and you play down, don't go up. It was running on my mind though. But that very night, what happened is that, so how it was that, me and my boys were in one room and my parents were on the other side of the house. So they usually slept early and my dad was unwell. So, they both used to go to bed early. So I was putting my kids to sleep. They slept off. And then I started hearing knocks on my door. And I was like, is this my mind playing tricks because of what my son just shared in the evening? Then I hear chairs moving outside in the drawing room. Then I start hearing footsteps. And I was like, no, this is, and I was really scared. I was trying to sleep. I just, put the quilt on me. I tried to sleep. And between 2 to 3, my younger son, who was around 2 that time, he gets up, howling, crying, with his eyes tightly closed, and he's pointing towards one corner of the room. Mama, bhar. That's all out. That's all he's telling me. Mama, out. So I'm like trying to wake him up, and he refused to open his eyes. All I got to know that he's pointing towards a particular corner of the room, and he's telling me to move out of the room. So I just took him. I was scared to actually go out also because I was hearing noises there. I was hearing voices there. My child is pointing towards, one of the corners of the room and he's asking me to get out. I was like in a dilemma. But I took my children and I just went out. He made me just sit there. He just didn't let me lie down. I remember I was just taking him in my lap and he fell asleep then. But I was so scared because I knew there is something happening. I could hear things happening, but I couldn't see anything. Anyways, it was like, we woke up. I barely slept. I was sitting and sleeping basically. So we woke up the next day. The day was fine, but as soon as, it was evening, my fear used to start going up because I was like unsure what's happening because I could sense there is something, but I was not sure of what's happening. The same thing repeats the next night. Between 2 to 3, the younger one gets up. And it was so weird. He's sleeping, he would just, with closed eyes, he would get up and he'll point towards that side of the room. I'm like, no, this is not done. So I tried changing his direction. It got weirder because even if I changed his direction, he would point behind with his closed eyes.
What?
That really freaked me out. And I was like, no, 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 no. I need help. There is something that's not right. And I mean, it was bad. It was bad. My younger son was uncomfortable during the day, and my younger son was uncomfortable during the night. And it was like the entire day I was in fear. I was not able to share this with my parents initially because I didn't want to bother them more. Because as it is, my dad was battling cancer. I didn't want to, but then I was like, no, maybe I need to tell my mom because we need help. And I didn't want them to get affected because I asked them, I asked my neighbors indirectly. No one was feeling anything because I thought maybe it's like, if others are also feeling it, maybe we can get a collective help or something. But no one was feeling anything. So I started seeking help, but that was another that's another story because most of the people didn't believe me. They were like, it's probably your mind playing tricks, but I knew what was happening with me. So the ones who were believing me didn't know how to help me. Ranveer, I remember it was 2 months of trauma that I went through. One more thing, yeah, oh God. One more thing that happened was there was this day, I was sitting in the bedroom with both my boys. They were just doing something. So we had this window AC. And there's this socket next to the window AC. Right in front of me, that window, the socket just caught fire. It just went in flames. I grabbed both of them, ran out, and I called the electrician. I asked him to check because I said, just right now, come and check what's happening. So he checked everything and he's like, ma'am, everything is fine. I don't see, even the wiring looks fine. The AC looks fine. I don't figure out what's the reason behind this fire. And I was like, wow, this is getting intense. And then, back then we had a house help. So he was with us for a long time. He was there with us for 11 years. He has never complained, but he, for the first time, told me that, Didi, I feel like, he used the word upri saya. I feel that there is something dark and I'm not comfortable sleeping at night. So
What is Upri Saya?
These were the words he used. Upri Sai is like some higher energy which is dark. He used these words. So I said, no, I have to get immediate help. But it took me 2 long months to actually find help. I did find a psychic. One of my family friends helped me. I said, I don't care. I just need help. And I was not wanting to go to any random person because I knew that this is one space where you can get exploited, and I didn't want to get into that zone. So I was looking for someone who is like, who understands and gives me an explanation of what's happening and why it's happening and stuff. So I found a psychic, and as soon as he enters my house, he's telling me that, ma'am, you know what, there are 6 entities here. 6 entities. I said, I don't care, but please, I need to get rid of them, and only then you are leaving this place. I mean, I literally pleaded. So I don't know. He just told me, okay, you go. He just sent me to the other side of the house. I don't know what he did. He did something, but my house was rid of the entities. Like that night, my son slept peacefully. The next day, my older son, I actually made him go up and, that go play. I didn't tell him anything. I just said, go play. He came back happy playing, and everything slowly was going back to normal. So this episode, I mean, when everything was sorted, I just sat and I was like, what just happened? Why it happened? And what if it happens again? Because I was not only worried of myself, I was worried about my boys. What we went through was difficult. So that was the time I realized that I think I have played enough hide and seek with whatever has been happening with me since childhood. So this was like a wake up call. And I need to look into and understand this world better. That is when I actually started gathering more information and researching on psychic abilities and paranormal. And during that time in that journey, then I met Sarbajit, and then we got together and started working.
Let's rewind a bit. What attracted 6 entities to your house?
Okay. So now there are a couple of possibilities. Now see, being a psychic, psychics are prone to the visit of entities is, what I can say. Because the entities know that this person can sense me more than the others.
One layer deep. So what?
As in?
Like they know that you can sense them.
Yeah. So So the thing is, most of the entities now, see, since he cleansed them, and I was not an investigator back then, so I never got into the depth of who these entities were. And when I asked him, he didn't tell me anything much, very honestly. So most of the entities, they need help. They need help, they need to be heard, they want someone to hear them out. So if suppose there are 100 people and they know that, okay, out of these 100 people, this person probably can sense me or see me or feel me or hear me, whatever, and probably we can get some help, they'll knock the door of that person.
So you're saying 6 entities sense that in that house there's possibly someone with some psychic abilities?
Yes, and it was not just me, it was even my kids. Both my boys are psychics.
They've inherited it from you?
They've maintained it, I would say. I mean, everyone is, right? So it's just that they have kind of maintained it.
What about your mom or dad?
Yes, my mom was. My mom was. I mean, her dreams were so, even my dreams are so active. Her dreams were so active. And it's, for her, it was usually during the dreams that she used to get messages. So yeah, it was coming down. But at the same time, I truly believe that everyone else is. But for me, it just stayed a little more enhanced, is what I can put it as.
Okay.
Right? And now coming to these entities, there's a very high chance they probably needed help. So probably they never meant to harm me or harm my boys or do anything bad. They just needed to be heard. But we are so much in fear with all, with ghost spirits and everything goes, that we never look into that side. It's only when I became an investigator, I realized that no, there are good entities too, and it's more of this side who are needing help, who are stuck, and otherwise, why will somebody just want to come and bother you?
Okay.
Right?
Can you see things?
I'm not much of a clairvoyant, no.
Okay.
And now I'm developing. Okay, let me share this. So I was very scared to see things. So when I was developing and kind of polishing my psychic abilities, I very consciously told my masters and my higher self that let the clairvoyance be enhanced the last, because I'm actually honestly scared to see. It's now recently I've opened myself to it and I'm working on my clairvoyance.
So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to TRS Clips for more.